Hello and welcome back to Calradia Expanded at War. And indeed, we are at war once again against the Battanians. Now, the Battanians are a bit of a problem, not so much because they are strong by any means, because they actually don't have that many places for us to even capture, but they're kind of interfering with my overall plan, which obviously, if you saw the previous episode, was to attempt to eliminate the Azarai, or at the very least try to capture a bunch of the territory down in the southern deserts. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't really able to complete the, shall we say, the extent of what I wanted to accomplish down there, but hopefully I will be able to do that and continue on after we have dealt with the Battanians. Now, bear in mind, the Battanians only own, I believe it is, 3 fiefs, and Inveth Castle, which is where we currently are, is one of them, and I think they also own Epicrotia, because if you recall, I actually traded Epicrotia away because I thought to myself, oh, this seems like a fantastic idea, because I think it was actually either under siege at the time, or we were going to lose it to loyalty, or I just wanted to trade it away just for general benefits for some reason or another. At the time it made sense. Maybe it still does, I'm not entirely sure, but yes, anyway. What I'm going to do is hopefully be able to achieve a relatively smooth victory here. Bear in mind they have over 400 units in this garrison, which is actually kind of impressive, to be honest. It is very impressive for them to have such a large garrison in such a small castle, but I suppose that is to be expected because they only have, well, very few fiefs, as I've already said, so it is more likely for them to have larger garrisons in these places because of that reason. But anyway, hopefully we're going to be able to take this without too many difficulties. Oh, hello there. Seems like most of these people are being chased off now, which is actually fine. Let's just be a little bit careful here ourselves. Need to make sure that these guys don't actually make it to the battlements, or at the very least, if they do make it to the battlements, they're going to be kind of injured. You know, we need them to be a little bit wounded so that we can have our units come in and then hopefully do a pretty decent job of clearing them up, or cleaning them up, mopping them up, sweeping them up, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, there's a lot of enemies right there. Yeah, there's a lot of enemies, but thankfully my battering ram seems to have made it to the gate, so we don't really have to worry too much about that, and we can get him. There we go. Whew. Don't really want to let anyone go by here. That would be a very bad idea indeed. Just being able to eliminate these guys. Oh, that was kind of a big hit, unfortunately. Generally, I'm not going to be taking that much damage because, let's face it, I do have 340 HP in total. That is all thanks to our athletic skill, of course, and the 2% HP increasing mod. But that's obviously neither here nor there at the moment, because hopefully I will not perish in my actions here. Get him. Get that guy as well. There we are. Fantastic. Alright, not too bad. We can just eliminate these fellows. Come on, get them. Just trying to eliminate as many as possible, because obviously more experience that we get, the better. Oh, it seems like my forces are not having a very good time of things. They seem to be not having a very good presence in this area for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Gonna tell everyone to charge in now. Gonna switch back to my crossbow. See if we can maybe level up our crossbows. Maybe to 300 or something like that. Maybe 300 would be quite nice. I mean, generally, I think due to my learning rates and all that stuff, I should be able to get to around 350, maybe even more than that in each skill. As I've said before, I personally find the vanilla leveling settings to be a little bit too slow, and I actually do agree with some of you that actually said that it is indeed very slow, and generally it does need some tweaking and so on. And I believe actually someone mentioned in the comments that there's a mod. It's called leveling rebalanced, or it's called levels rebalanced, or something along those lines. So I think if you go to Nexus and you put in rebalanced or something like that, then you're probably going to find it if you're interested to get it for yourself. But generally, yeah, that was what some of you, actually one of you mentioned to me. So thank you for letting me know about that, because I might end up using that mod in the next series, because I think that actually might be kind of useful. Anyway, I'm actually going to donate the experience, because no doubt, as you can currently tell, we have a lot of extra units. Yeah, a lot of extra units. There we go. Another 39 troops advanced. Very good, very good. Okay, so here we go. We have Lagator, and we have Epicrotia. We also have Varcheg, of course, and I don't think the Battanians own anything else. It doesn't seem... no, they own Diathma. They do own Diathma. Okay, so one thing I want to check very, very quickly here, if I can actually type properly. There we go. Okay, this guy. I'm going to try and get him to join us. It is highly unlikely that he will agree to this. I think that it is almost impossible for him to join us. But I'm going to try nevertheless, because you never know. Maybe he's not in an army. No, he is in an army. Of course he is. Well, that is to be expected, I suppose. But what I primarily wanted to do here is I wanted to speak to him, try to persuade him to join us, and then those two fiefs would come over to us, and then I could potentially trade with him, or I could basically do whatever I wanted to do at that point. So I'm actually going to ask for 3 vassals to join me right now, so that we can actually have a pretty significant combat strength, just in case they have actually garrisoned Epicrotia with a significant portion of units, because if they do, this is going to be kind of painful. Yeah, it is going to be kind of painful. Okay, so let's have a look here. Who do we want to give this to? Well, these guys already own 2 castles, so Gudun is my choice, and hopefully that is going to work out quite nicely for us. Now, I would like to actually show you something real quick. I'm actually going to go for a defensive war strategy here against most people. I'm going to go for offensive against Sturgia, and that actually brings me to the next point. Oh, hello there. That is a large army. Yeah, well, anyway, as I was going to mention, I actually do want to create another vassal from one of our companions. And I'm thinking probably Drusabalda would probably be really good, because she has pretty good skills, as you can see right here. She has 355 with bows and 308 with athletics. And obviously everything else that she has is not exactly great. I mean, scouting is pretty awesome for her, but that's pretty much it. Now, if we could make her into a companion, I mean, into a vassal, shall we say, with her own clan, I think that would be pretty amazing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually just take a quick look around here. I'm thinking I'm going to give her Sargeth, Deneen Castle, and Swenrin Castle. What do you say? Should I give her all of those? Because, I mean, technically they're absolutely fine, loyalty-wise, with me. I personally don't think I'm going to lose control of them anytime soon. But they are a different culture to Vlandian. So maybe it's not a good idea to give it to Drusabalda, because she is indeed Vlandian as well, which is actually hilarious. Maybe Cole would be a better choice, because while Cole is a trader by his skills, as you can see, he has 259 in trade, but he is Battanian. So this actually makes much more sense, in my opinion. So I'm actually going to speak to him and see if we can make him... Actually, you know what? Can I do something about this first? Okay, I'm going to see whether I can actually give him some decent gear. It's highly unlikely I'm going to be able to do this, to be honest. I mean, I might be able to give him some better stuff. But generally, as you can see, I really don't have anything good for him, which is kind of disappointing, but I am really close by to Sionan, right? Yeah, I'm super close to Sionan, so I might as well just go straight on in here and see if I can purchase a couple of things. Not this stuff, obviously, because this is literally 526,000, but I'm thinking maybe something that's 58,000 or so. I think that might be kind of nice. So let's go for that. 58,000, 49,000. Ooh, these pauldrons are actually better than what I have. Okay, I'm going to take that for myself then. And these are actually better than what I'm using too. Oh, and these boots are better than what I'm using. Okay, so he's going to get a lot of my hand-me-downs, I suppose. And let's just have a look-see here. Yeah, this helm is actually better than what I was using too. So let's just transfer a whole bunch of these things. And these braces, there we go. Okay, so we're making old man Byron into a slightly better, more protected fellow, which is actually kind of nice for him. And we're going to give Cole some upgraded stuff. Am I actually doing the right thing here? No. There we go. These are the right things. There we are. Alright, perfect. Absolutely perfect. Fantastic. Okay, so now let me actually just take a quick look at the shields. I don't have very many good ones, so it seems like I'll have to maybe purchase something here as well. What about a Highland large shield? That kind of makes sense, I guess. We'll have him use a one-handed. I think he's good with one-handed, right? No, he's actually terrible with basically everything, as you can quite clearly tell. I mean, he's actually better at two-handed. Do I care? Do I care whether he's good at two-handed or not? I mean, I could technically give him a really, really good one-handed, but maybe I should just give him a two-handed, like a, I don't know, a rusty short-handled bardiche or something along those lines. I don't know, maybe that would make sense. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't. I mean, he's going to level it up really, really fast, so maybe it would be an idea to give him something like a battle axe, for example. That might actually be kind of fun. So let's give him a battle axe. And I think that's probably all he's going to use. There we go. Okay, fantastic. So now let's go and speak to him. I'm actually in the menu right now, so I won't be able to do that just yet. So let's just have the game autosave for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why it's autosaving right there, but anyway. Let's go and now speak to him. I wish to reward you for your services. Yes, we've done this once before, by the way, in the series. We've already, you know, ascended a companion to Vassalage. And now we're doing it again, so let's have a look. Okay, so I'm going to give him Swenrin Castle. And he's going to be a Baron. There we go. Fantastic. Boom. And we're going... Oh no, oh dear. Yes, I forgot about this. We are going to have to give him a clan name. So I have no idea what I'm going to call his clan, to be honest. Because I cannot really call it... The Ragged Ones or something, can I? I mean, really, that's just not going to work. So I'm thinking... I could go with the old sort of old adage of you know, rags to riches sort of thing. I could go with that kind of saying, because obviously he's the ragged, but generally he's a very rich trader by now. I mean, he's 259 in trade. That's pretty good, you know. So maybe rags to riches. So in other words, riches? It's terrible. I know. But it's all right, I guess. I mean, let's see how he does. Maybe he's gonna surprise us. Maybe he's gonna do fantastically. Who knows? Maybe he's gonna do fantastically. Maybe he's gonna be really, really bad. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, let's move on now. And oh, there's Fafan's army. Fafan is right behind me, right there. Let me see where this army is going. This is really weird how this army is literally going in the same direction as me, because I obviously wanted to go to Epicrotia, and it seems like they are doing the same thing, which is kind of strange, I gotta admit. Oh well. I actually don't even know where my where the forces that I've called actually are. I don't know how long it's going to take them to actually reach me, so can I mean, I can't zoom things up any further. Inveth Castle has now been besieged, which is to be expected. Oh, he's coming back this way. Oh no, he's actually not coming back this way. Okay, so this guy's now joined me. Do you want to fight? No, he's besieging Pen... Oh, have fun. Have fun taking Pen Cannoc, sir. Yeah, have fun taking that. You're going to not do very well at all, in my opinion. Okay, so let's go into Epicrotia. They have 820... What? Okay, that's a lot. That is a lot of people. That is really, really surprising. I would not have expected that in a million years. But apparently, they really know what's up. They apparently know what's up. These guys are now coming back, because obviously they are. And I'm not going to have the ability to finish the battering ram, or maybe I am. There we go, the battering ram is now finished. Let's go in. That was a bit close. Bit close for my liking, but, you know, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. Let's see whether we can prevail against... Well, it is an Empire Fief, so it is generally on a much lower scale of difficulty than, for example, a Battanian one. But we still have to be a little bit cautious about taking too much damage from random things. Oh, did you see that? He actually dodged. That was pretty good of him. Nice. We shot that fellow as well. Alright, wait a minute, wait a minute. I'm thinking maybe if we can get a good vantage point down here. I'm trying to be extremely careful about reloading in spots that are too vulnerable. Don't really want to just stand there and take bolts to the face like candy. That would not be too nice. Anyway, let's zoom things up a little bit. Maybe my forces are... Oh, this is harsh. This is really, really harsh. But I'm very much hoping that maybe my... I don't know, maybe my battering ram is going to actually reach the gates. It's highly unlikely if they've built any kind of catapults. Okay, here we go. Ah. Yes. Oh, get him. Get him. There we are. Nice. Okay, now let's see. Oh, no, we got some people on the battlements. Fantastic. Okay, this is great. Obviously, Epicrotia is not the most difficult to take. I mean, I'm looking at you, Pen Cannoc. Pen Cannoc is absolutely nightmarish. And, yeah, I do not want to siege that again, if at all possible. So I'm going to try my very best to have interceptions going on there. So if we do have any situation that requires my presence, I'm probably going to go over there as soon as I possibly can, because I really do not want to take it back if it gets taken ever. Even if it's by, I don't know, 100 units or something, it's still going to be a pain. So probably would prefer for that not to happen. Let's try and eliminate as many of these guys as possible. I went for a nice thrust there, but apparently that did not go through because he blocked it. Oh, and I fell. Oh, I fell onto the roof. Okay, I meant to do that. No, I did not. Oh, no. I certainly did not. I'm still alive, though, thanks to strong legs. I didn't take that much damage as a result of that. Okay, let's just try and keep away from these enemies here. Gotta be a little careful. And that guy was blocking me. The guy on the ground that I knocked to the floor, I didn't realize that he was still alive, so he was actually blocking my escape from the various attackers. Alright, so it looks as though that is indeed a done deal, but how many units have we lost? That is the big question mark hanging over our heads right now. We really need to find that out, so let's have a look. Alright, so we... that's actually not as bad as I thought, because when we first started the siege, I thought, okay, we're losing quite a few. I did end up losing 18 from my very own army here, but obviously bear in mind the greater amount of casualties that our forces suffered are going to definitely affect our overall combat strength. And if we are going to have to defend, which we will definitely have to, no doubt, in just a second, then we may have some issues doing that. But let's just see. Gonna donate all of this experience, thank you very much. And I will claim the fief, because I might be able to do some, you know, shady dealings behind the scenes. And maybe I'm going to be able to do something about that. Okay, so let me just sell all of this. That's 51,000 just from that. That's pretty cool. And I'm just going to wait here. I'm just going to wait here for some time. Let's see what happens. Oh, it seems like they're leaving. Okay. That's kind of surprising. I wouldn't have expected them to do that, to be honest. I would have expected them to pretty much just do whatever, like literally just go straight on in there, throw caution to the wind. I thought that they would do exactly that. I didn't think that they would actually just run away and not actually do anything here. It's kind of weird. All right, well, my loyalty bonuses are now going to give them overwhelming benefits, which is really, really fantastic. And look at that, Inveth Castle is being defended by Cole the Ragged's party. Actually don't even know what kind of units he has available to him, and I don't even know what his loyalty is like. Well, not his loyalty, his leadership is like. So he may, in fact, not have a very good time of things. But we can only hope, right? We can only hope. Okay, so I'm gonna go and try and take Diathma here. Is this guy trying to do something? Wait a minute. Does he own anything, this fellow? Let's see, there's a bunch of people named that. No, he does not own anything, but it may be possible to persuade him to join us, potentially. He is the leader of his clan, so it might make sense, right? Oh, he's actually willing to listen. But I might as well just say goodbye right now, because he has such a small percentage of success rate that there is no way this is going to work. Not in a million years. Even the 82% chance was ineffective. Okay, well that's put paid to that then, hasn't it? Yes, indeed. Oh well, never mind, never mind. Okay, well if I'd been able to get the critical success on the first one, which was 24% chance, I would have been able to do this, but unfortunately, my relation with him is very bad, so it is to be expected, no less. Anyway, I actually think... How many units do you think they're going to have in Diathma? I'm a bit worried about that, to be honest. I'm thinking if they have around the same as Epicrotia, I might be able to take it by myself, because I do have 400 very high tier units. I mean, they're not actually very high tier, but they're on the way to being high tier, as you can see right here. I do have some tier 4s, some tier 3s, but most of my units are indeed tier 5, as you can see right there. I have 173 sharpshooters, because someone literally said in the comments that I'm definitely not playing on max difficulty. Okay, so here's the thing. If you go back and you watch the first episode, you'll see that I selected the difficulty. I haven't changed it since the series began. And if I do change it, I always mention what I've changed it to, so that if you're playing along with me, you're going to be able to make the same modifications. Or if you don't want to play with something as... I don't know, if you don't want to play with the same kind of player damage taken, then obviously you can change it to whatever you want it to be. But at the moment, I am playing with full troop damage, full friendly troop damage, so that means vassals and things in simulated battles, they take full damage. And the only thing I'm not playing with on max is player damage, because I personally don't want to get headshot in the face. I mean, technically I could actually change that right now, because I'm not really dying that fast anymore, because obviously I have some really good HP and everything, so it kind of makes sense that I wouldn't. But generally, the main reason, this is the whole reason why I wanted to actually mention this in the first place, the only reason why I'm able to win battles this easily, I think you may not realize the impact that high tier units have, but it's that. That's it. It's just having more high tier units than your opponent. That is the only reason why I am achieving victory with very minimal casualties most of the time. Because if you just take a look here, I mean, literally 174. These guys, 174 Vlandian sharpshooters. I mean, that's a lot. That's a significant amount of units right there. And it's highly unlikely. I mean, look at this, look at this. We are outnumbered right here. We are outnumbered. We are outgunned. They have more power levels than us. But what do you bet we might actually still achieve victory here? Primarily because of my sharpshooters. The sharpshooters are well, I guess you could say not so secret weapon, because let's face it, everyone knows how good Vlandian crossbowmen are, and I'm talking about, obviously, you know, vassals in the game. They know how good Vlandian sharpshooters are. You know what I'm actually going to do? Because the enemy has an advantage, I'm actually going to move my forces onto this small height advantage here, because I'm thinking that because they have the advantage, they're probably going to try and press it, and they're probably going to make a mistake by being more aggressive towards us. If they are more aggressive towards us, then we can take a more defensive posture, and this is going to spell doom for them. Or at least, I think it should spell doom for them. Let's see what happens. So I'm putting them in loose formation right now. If you take a look in the top right, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. This is the main reason why I say that we take very little casualties. And the reason why you may want to consider this when you're talking about what difficulty I'm actually playing on, because you see here, you see all of this, you see what's happening right now? These guys are literally tearing the enemy apart. And this does not affect how much damage they do, obviously. You know, the damage modifiers do not affect how much damage your own units do or anything. So they are going to do full damage to the enemy, and the enemy is obviously going to do full damage against them. But now, here's the thing. My cavalry are coming in from the side. They are also intercepting the enemy's archers. They are preventing them from attacking us. And my crossbowmen are basically able to attack as much as they want. They are completely unassaulted for the most part. And that's also going to have a very devastating effect against the enemy's lines. And you can see here, they're actually being rather brave. They are being very brave indeed. They're actually sending their units in here. They're actually deciding to commit to this particular aggressive action that they wanted to take. But this is going to be their undoing. It really is. It is going to be their undoing, and they don't even know it. Or maybe they do. But maybe they just accepted it. I don't know. But it seems to me like they probably can't do much about this. I'm actually going to tell my cavalry to now pull back. We don't want them to get too overzealous. And generally, I'm going to leave my infantry where they are, leave my archers where they are. And we're just going to allow our Vlandian sharpshooters to continue firing. Because here's the thing. While they have, I think they have 20 bolts each, right? Do they have 20 bolts each? I'm actually not entirely sure what kind of quiver size they have. But as far as I'm aware, the largest quiver you can get with the bolts is a large bag, and I believe that gives you 20 bolts. So each one of these Vlandian sharpshooters, I mean obviously all 173 are not on the battlefield at this moment, but you can imagine, you know, I have a very significant amount of them. I mean, if I just take a look here, I have 100, no, actually I have 98. Yeah, I have 98 Vlandian sharpshooters on the field of battle right now. And if you think about that each of them have 20, that is a lot of shots. That is a lot of shots. And also the fact that I have so many crossbow-related perks, and these perks are going to buff how much damage my Vlandian sharpshooters are capable of doing. It's just ludicrous. It's actually incredibly insane how much damage our forces are capable of doing now that we have all of those perks and now that we have all of these guys leveled up. And I mean, you can see after the fight, actually. You'll see after the fight how much damage the Vlandian sharpshooters have actually done, how many kills they have gained. It is going to be staggering. And if you're someone that doesn't realize the power of tier in the game, you know, because obviously having so many high tier units, that really makes a huge difference. It really does. So it's astonishing, really, how much difference that makes. But it's the same in real life as well. It's literally like, I don't know, I mean, if you go all the way back to, I don't know, medieval times, and you were to take a farmer, right? You take a farmer, and then you put him up against a regular enlisted soldier who has seen combat, you're probably going to see who wins that. I mean, pretty obviously, right? Yeah, it's going to be a pretty obvious victory for the soldier in that case. But the point still stands, you know. That's the reason why we are not losing that many units. Yeah. Although we are losing units. I mean, you can see here, I mean, obviously the difference is pretty staggering, but the whole reason for that is because we are also able to inflict so much morale damage. You also have to take into account morale damage. I know that this is a bit of an overlooked statistic, because generally it's not one of those glitzy ones, you know, it's not the one, you know, it's not the one that gets your name in lights, so to speak, because morale damage is not really counted, and you don't see a number associated with it. You just see, oh, look at that, I just did 507 cutting damage. That's great. You know, I did massive damage against that particular fellow, right? Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you're going to get a billboard about yourself for. However, morale damage is not shown, but it is extremely important. If you're new to the game, or generally if you're playing the game for the first couple of hours, morale damage, think about it. Think about how good morale damage is and how you can maximize it as much as possible. I've been spending a lot of time trying to maximize the amount of morale damage I'm capable of doing and putting my forces in formations that actually provide me with the maximum amount of gain in that regard. Because that generally will make more of a difference than doing actual damage. Because if you can cause the enemy to go into a disorganized state, if you can force them into a situation where they're going to flee from the battlefield, that is better than killing them all, you know? That is actually better than killing them all. I know, it seems weird, right? I mean, well, not really, because let's face it, you know, the battle that, you know, can I get on this mount? Oof. Yes, yeah, anyway, as I was saying, the battle that you don't have to fight is better than the one you do. You know what I mean? It's kind of, it kind of makes sense. At least I think it makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to actually tell my forces to charge in here. I'm going to tell my crossbowmen to charge in. Bear in mind that the ones without ammunition, where I'm sure there's a bunch of them, but the ones without ammunition will now be charging in and attempting to melee. This is obviously going to result in many of their deaths, but, you know, needs must and everything, needs must. And I will have to try and eliminate more of the enemy's infantry and archers and all that stuff. Because bear in mind, while they have taken significant losses, they're still charging in. They're still charging in with reckless abandon, and I'm actually kind of surprised. You know, I'm actually thinking to myself, why are they doing this? Why are they actually charging in such a manner? It kind of boggles the mind a little bit, because you'd think, oh, these guys have taken significant casualties. They're basically on the verge of defeat, but yet they are still fighting. And they only have 100 units remaining by the looks of things. Yes, they only have 100 units remaining. And you can see here that we have indeed lost not many at all. Only about 140 units in total, which is pretty good. But again, you saw what I was able to do there. Put my sharpshooters on the slight height advantage so that they have the maximum, you know, maximum killing potential. And the enemy just continued charging into us. That was it. They just made a tactical mistake in that regard. And obviously the tier that they did not take into account, the tier of their units versus ours. But we should probably take a look and see what their best unit was, what their best performing unit was, because no doubt you might be surprised about how many units my sharpshooters were able to do, because maybe it's not as many as I think. I'm going to guess around 260, maybe 270 units that they would have eliminated potentially. Let's take a quick look at that. All right. Oh, wow. They killed so many more than I thought. This is actually insanity. From my perspective, I was not expecting that. I thought to myself, oh, max 300 kills, right? But the reason why we were able to win this fight is purely these sharpshooters. However, if you think about this, what if I were to switch out the sharpshooters for sergeants, and I would still go against this same enemy army? I'd probably still see the same results because of the tier. The tier of the unit is very, very important. And I don't know what could have beaten us here, actually, because we still have 400 units in reserve. We still have 400 units on the battlefield as it is. And I'm not entirely sure what kind of army would have been able to defeat us at this point. I'm thinking probably something that has about... I mean, the tier of units is obviously the main issue here, not really the number of units. Because let's say that they had a relatively similar amount of tier 4, tier 5. They probably would have been able to beat us there. Although they did make, as I say, a couple of relatively big mistakes in regards to literally just charging their units in. Because obviously charging their units in, that is just... that is a big faux pas to make, because they are basically just charging straight on into, almost 100 sharpshooters, which are going to easily be able to headshot many of these units that are not traveling in shield wall formation, and as a result, they don't have their shields up, and they're just going to get, pinned down and killed, and that's it. And then as soon as they've done that, you know what's going to happen then? Well, then the cavalry comes in from the side, then they run into the wall of infantry, and the sharpshooters all the while are continuing to bombard the opponent, and that's it. That's it. That's how you win. That's how you win in the game. You know, it's basically a case of, well, these guys have these guys have pitchforks and we have swords and shields. It's kind of like that, I guess, which is kind of sad in a way, but still. But I hope that sheds a little bit more light on why the difficulty actually does not make any difference, especially in these kinds of situations. Obviously, if you're talking about a similar situation, but you have similar units. So, for example, let's say, I don't know, let's say I have a bunch of tier 3 units and maybe a handful of tier 4 and no tier 5, and the enemy has, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 tier 5, and let's say they're Imperial Cataphract units. So I'm talking the big guns right here. I'm talking these big guys that are just gonna be real beefy, really hard to take out. They are going to win that fight. I'm pretty sure they will win that fight just purely for that reason. Even if I had the difficulty on a lower setting at that point, even if I was in that situation, hypothetically, obviously, I would still probably end up losing, because the tier of unit and the strategy that you're going to use is going to be much, much more important. But obviously you can disagree with me if you want to. This is obviously, you're free to do that. It is all a personal opinion, but from my experience in the game so far, that in general is my perspective on things. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode. I will attempt to take Diathma probably off screen, because we've already seen Diathma a number of times, and then we'll go down to Lagata, and I might be able to do that for the next episode in the beginning of it. And then that will be it for the Battanians, I think, because they haven't been able to take back Inveth Castle, which is very nice to see. And also we made a new vassal as well. So let's have a look at our combat strength real quick. Oh, wow. Look at our combat strength, really close to the Aserai. That's actually frightening right there. That is very scary for the Aserai to literally have basically the exact same amount of combat strength that we do. Well, we'll have to do something about them in the next one. So I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.